The headlines. Gaza's hospital crisis. Officials say they've been forced to move premature babies from incubators into ordinary beds. But Israel says this shows it is supplying fuel for Gaza's biggest hospital. We'll have a special report on where all of this is leading.
Perhaps the biggest question is what happens in Gaza the day after? Who's going to be in charge? Israeli occupiers? An international force? Palestinians? If so, which Palestinians?
The UK's Home Secretary Suella Braverman says some chanting at Saturday's pro-Palestinian march was sick and clearly criminal. Iceland's government declares a state of emergency and orders evacuations with the chance of a volcanic eruption arising.
A countdown's on in the US to avert a government shutdown as Republicans look to cut a deal. And President Biden and China's Xi Jinping are due to meet for the first time this year at the APEC summit in San Francisco. Plus, a big cat surprise for residents in this Italian town after a lion escaped from a local circus.
Headlines. The defense chiefs of the United States, South Korea, and Japan have agreed to share real-time data on North Korea's missile launches next month. At the annual security talks in Seoul, the allies also agreed to put in place a multi-year plan for regular trilateral drills by the end of the year. Meanwhile, North Korea has called for a UN command meeting scheduled next week in South Korea to be dissolved, calling it an illegal war organization. 50,000 displaced people in Myanmar's Shan state remain desperate for aid. Trade routes have been cut off and several towns seized since the anti-junta offensive was launched at the end of October by 3 ethnic minority insurgent groups. The UN has appealed for an immediate ceasefire. Rescue workers in northern India are attempting to reach around 40 construction workers that are trapped inside a tunnel they were building in the Himalayas. The 200-meter section of the structure in Uttarakhand state collapsed early on Sunday, blocking a stretch of up to 50 meters with debris. Officials say there's been no communication with the trapped workers. However, they are believed to be safe and have access to an emergency oxygen supply.
And a landslide has left at least 30 people trapped under construction of a road tunnel. It's collapsed in India. Rescue workers are trying to get oxygen being pumped through the pipe. It's collapsed into a section of the tunnel, and it's to help workers breathe. 5 US service members have been killed on a training mission after the military aircraft carrying them crashed into the sea. The crew were taking part in a routine air refuelling exercise in the eastern Mediterranean. An investigation into the crash is now underway. And a member of the Football Association's top decision-making body representing minority ethnic communities has apologised after saying Adolf Hitler would have been proud of Benjamin Netanyahu. Wasim Haq made the remark about Israel's war in Gaza, and it was made on social media on the platform X. And the FA told Sky News that council member Wasim Haq has since apologised for causing offence and deleted the post.
Now, a speech by the climate change campaigner Greta Thunberg has been interrupted by a stage invader in Amsterdam who appeared unhappy at pro-Palestine chanting.
But we have not been listening. The people in power have not been listening.
I come here for a climate demonstration, not a political coup.
This is what happened. The man took the microphone after members of the crowd had shouted, "Palestine will be free." After the man had been removed from the stage, Ms Thunberg then joined the crowd in chanting "No climate justice" on occupied land. Almost every major energy company is ignoring climate change targets, according to figures seen by the BBC. Researchers in Germany suggest that 96% of the world's 700 biggest firms plan to drill new oil and gas fields despite official warnings against doing so. The industry says it is transitioning to greener fuels, but last year more oil and coal was used than ever before.